Hello and welcome back to Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here. We talk about everything IBC, business, and money related. And guess what? Today we're talking about it all. If you guys are enjoying this podcast, please leave a review. Please share it with your friends. But let's get into it. So I have had so many clients in the last couple of weeks that are concerned about their IRAs and the money that's being lost in there. I actually, you guys, this is absolutely crazy, but I actually had a client that had, I think he was at $26,000 in his IRA, and the next day he was at $2,400. I may have got those two mixed up, but he was at I think he was at 26,000 and it dropped to 2,400. I did not believe him. So he sent me a screenshot of his account that he lost, 90% of what he had in there? That's absolutely insane. Insane. And I have been talking about this a lot in the last couple of weeks because I've been seeing that. Well, really since January, because everybody's been losing money since January of 2022. And guess what? This feedback that I'm getting is absolutely crazy. And so I want to address it. Even though I do believe that I have addressed this before, I think that we need to keep talking about it. And no, I am not going to be giving you financial advice, but I am going to challenge your thought process today. Ultimately, as always, you do what you want with your money because guess what? It's your money. Financial advisors get so mad when people say, I want to withdraw my money. And they challenge you and they pressure you to keep it in there. Ultimately, you guys, it's your money. You get to do what you want with it. The fact that someone is pressuring you to leave it in is absolutely ridiculous. Think about this. These are some of the objections that I've been getting. Well, Mary Jo, that's terrible advice to withdraw money from your IRA and have a 10% penalty. That's terrible advice. Because that money, if you use that money to start a business, most businesses fail. Okay, let's pick that apart. If I withdraw my money, which me personally, that's what I did. In 2010, I had lost 40% of what I had in there. 40%. I took a 10% penalty, took another 10% loss, and started my business with that. Did this business fail? Absolutely not. Could have it failed? Yes. Did it take me time to get it going? Absolutely. Was it hard work? 100%. But I was in control of how hard I wanted to work and if I wanted to make it work, right? Businesses fail because the person starting the business doesn't put time and effort in, doesn't watch expenses. Now, if you are somebody that's starting a business, that may have sounded super harsh because if you've had a business that failed, and I've seen this time and time again, people's business fails because they don't market. They don't tell anybody what they're doing. They are not speaking to the world and sharing it. When I started Infinite Banking, you couldn't shut me up and it's very hard to shut me up about what I do because I am 100% committed to this and I believe in it and it is extreme passion for me. If you are passionate enough, it will work. It will. Because guess what? If somebody else is doing the exact same business and they're successful and you're not, what are they doing? So yes, businesses will fail. But why? If you put money in the market, could you be my client that loses 90% of their money as well? Overnight. Yes, you could. Absolutely. There is nothing in the market to protect you from not losing it. Then people will say to me, well, Mary Jo, you didn't lose it because you didn't really have it. And that is when I want to start banging my head against a wall. Yeah. Because it drives me insane. You didn't lose it because you never really had it. Think about that. You go to the casino, you put $20 in the slots, you're up $100. Then you lose that, right? You lost it, and you cash out at $20. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I didn't lose anything, but I had a good time playing. Because I walked out with what I had. That's gambling, right? You go to the blackjack table, you do the exact same thing. You could be up $10,000. Then you lose it. Why do you say you lost it? You didn't lose anything, right? Some people will say, well, I didn't lose anything because I walked out with my $20. You lost an opportunity to make more money. That is gambling. That is the exact same thing that you are doing with your IRAs. You are losing the opportunity to make cash. And somebody else is getting to decide if you make money. And the stock market is propped up by people that don't give two iotas about you. And they are manipulating it and basically determining if you get to make any money or not. Just like the casinos. One more comparison to the casino. Think about this. If you've put $20 in and you're up 100, 500, maybe you're up 5,000, and you lose it all and you're back to $20, what are you going to do? Are you going to cash out? Or are you going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hang in there and I'm going to keep pushing the button, because if I keep pushing the button, I might hit the jackpot. The jackpot hasn't been won yet. So I'm going to keep playing. Right? What are you told when you lose money in the market? Hang in there. It's going to come back. Same thing. The same mentality that we have when we go to the casino. Hang in there. You could hit it again. You could hit it again. That is why people have addiction problems to gambling. Because there's always this, oh, I could. Well, guess what? You could lose it all as well. And we're so scared. We have to pick our fear, right? Are we so scared of losing money in the market, or are we so scared of using that money and banking and taking the risk on ourselves? We're banking that we're going to be able to make money, right? We're risking that. I would rather put the risk on me where I know me and I can control that than let the stock market control that. Because that's what we're doing. Here's another one. 10% penalty to access money. People are like, oh, but I'm going to lose 10%. If you would have withdrawn money in January, would have you lost the 30 or 40% that you lost since January? Nope. Same thing as me. I did not take my money right away because I was told by my financial advisor, you hang in there, Mary Jo, it'll come back. So what? I didn't take it right away. So I waited until I had lost 40, then I took the 10. So I lost 50. When I could have just taken it right away and lost 10. Because I never liked the darn thing to begin with. You have to put this stuff in. You got to think about it. I have been doing some research before I recorded this podcast, because I call the 10% penalty the dumb tax, because it is a tax penalty. That is the only way that the government can take your money. is by taxing you. So I have been doing some research trying to find when this 10% penalty was passed, why it was passed, and I can't find anything. I'm like a pretty good Googler, and I can't find anything. I can't find the act, I can't find what it was called. But they put this, I call it the dumb tax, because the one thing that I do know is this 10% penalty was put there so that you would avoid accessing the money. Because they either, one, think you're too dumb to manage your own money. That's why I call it the dumb tax. Or two, they need a surety that you're going to leave that in the market and that the market doesn't have huge fluctuations because people need access to it. And then when you do want access to it, because you can for a hardship, they ask you to prove the hardship. Well, maybe you wouldn't have the hardship if you were taught how to create cash flow, if you were taught how to use the money. But guess what? We most of the time have hardships when the economy is tanking. That is when we have to go get our money, and that is also when the market crashed. Look at what is happening right now. I heard a podcast a couple of days ago that said our year-to-date inflation on food is 11%. We are in a massive hardship to buy groceries, but you cannot get access to your money to buy groceries. So instead, we put them on a credit card and pay 15 to 20%. Consumer credit card debt is skyrocketing right now. 15 to 20% to go buy our groceries. Yet we have money in an IRA that is maybe earning a negative. But we have a 10% penalty because we should be forced to leave it there because we are too dumb to manage our own money. You've got to be kidding me. And so many people will say, well, you know what? It's only 10%. I will take that penalty. Or many people say it is 10% and I'm not taking that penalty. And you know what I say? It's BS. The penalty period is BS. It should never, ever, ever, ever have been implemented to begin with. You are in business with the government. If you have an IRA, you are in business with the government. They are deciding how much you can put there. They are deciding when and why you can take it out. They are putting a penalty on you. They're deciding how old you can be to take it out. They are then deciding that at 72, you have required minimum distributions. So you have to take it out. They are telling you everything that you can and cannot do with your money, and yet you believe it is your money. And as soon as you give it to the broker, he acts like it's his money. You think it's your money. Why do you have a penalty to access your money? If you went to the bank and you don't get your money, you're not very happy about that. And yet the banks don't need to give us the money either. Think about this, people. This is, to me, it's nearly criminal. I don't want to be in business with the IRS or with the government. Sorry. I don't want to be in business with the government. Here's another one. Well, you're going to have to pay taxes now. Are we going to be in a higher tax bracket in 20, 30, 40 years from now? Or are we going to be in a lower tax bracket? I hope that you make more money. I hope that you are super successful, which means you will be in a bigger tax bracket. You most likely will have kids that you do not get a deduction for anymore. So you may not have a mortgage. Hopefully you do, but you may not have a mortgage that you get a tax deduction for. Will you be able to write as much stuff off? No. Will you have sold your business by then? Most likely. If you're not going to keep your business forever, you don't have the business deductions. Now you may have the business deductions if you have a business. Are you going to be in a lower tax bracket today? Most likely. You're either going to pay those taxes today or you are going to pay those taxes tomorrow. You determine when you want to pay those taxes. Can you create the income and more cash flow if you use that money today? If you have your money in a 401k and you are still employed, you are not able to access that money. But you are able to determine if you want to contribute or not. And you get a match. Do you want to contribute for the match? This is another thing to think about. If you are contributing 3% and you make $60,000, $70,000 a year, 3% of $100,000 a year is $3,000. Is that $3,000 going to get you is that $3,000 going to earn you enough money to retire on? Never. Never. $3,000, is it even worth it to contribute? Could you take that $3,000 and start a business? Could you take that $3,000 and do something else with it? $3,000 a year. If you want to retire with an IRA and you are 20, 30 years old, you should be saving 20 to 30% of your money. Here's another one. Well, Mary Jo, I'm going to need, I need to save because I want to have this 401k for retirement. Fine. What happens at retirement? Think about what's happening today with our retirees. We have a set pension. We have a set amount of money that we've determined that we can use from our IRA or 401k, right? We have a set amount. So if I'm 70 and I plan to live for 20 or 30 more years, I have a set amount that I can take out every single year so that I can live. What happened with inflation? Inflation is killing retirees because now I need to take out more to buy the same amount of groceries that I was buying. But I didn't figure 11% inflation into my retirement strategy. And I'm not making 11% in the market to make up for what I'm taking out because the market is falling. What is happening when you retire? You need to have, based on numbers today, I can say somebody that's 20 or 30 years old is going to need $5 million of today's money to retire. $5 million. But that is not figuring in inflation of 11%. That's figuring in inflation of 4%. You guys, this is huge. You have to think about the whole picture. Why are we putting money there? Do we want to gamble with it? Do we want to have a surety? I had a guy tell me a couple of weeks ago, he said, well, I need $3 million to operate my business with. Are you going to be able to give me $3 million in 10 years? Yeah. If you put 300,000 in, yeah, you'll have $3 million in 10 years. Well, I don't know if I can do that. And he's touting his IRA. And I said, are you guaranteed to have $3 million in that IRA in 10 years? If you put $100,000 in every single year for 10 years, are you guaranteed to have $3 million in 10 years? No. Then why are you comparing it? Why do you think life insurance is so bad? I can guarantee you're going to have $3 million in 10 years. Guarantee it. You can't even guarantee it. And you think that IRA is so special? Think about what we're doing with these IRAs. Think about who is selling it. Think about who is controlling the ups and the downs of the market. I just heard yesterday in a meeting that big companies are selling stocks right now and all these little people are buying them. Why are big companies selling and little people buying? Oh, that's what I was told as well. Let me add this one for good measure. Well, Mary Jo, now is the time you should be buying. This is what they told me in 2010. Now is the time you should be buying, not taking money out. Buying? Buying with what? What are you supposed to buy with right now? When we have 11 to 15% inflation, what are you supposed to be buying with? You can barely afford the groceries and you're supposed to be buying stocks that are on sale. Oh my God, where is the wall? My head, like it just does not make sense to me. Now, if you love your investment, if you are investing that money yourself, if you are buying and selling yourself, there is money to be made. But giving money over to a broker who does not give two iotas about you and does not buy and sell and is not paying attention, are they actually making you money? Possibly not. Think about it. I don't care ultimately what you do, but we have to bring some rationale into this conversation of IRAs. And I haven't even touched on fees and expenses and all the other stuff that go along with IRAs. But even if you don't own a business, even if you are an employee just listening to this and have no desire to own a business, are you almost better off to put that money in savings? I don't know. You better be watching your stuff, but hanging in there because it'll come back as a bunch of you know what. Those clients, I have a couple of them that have left it in there since the 08-09 crash. They've left it in there. Guess when it came back to where it was? They didn't contribute. They just left it there. It took until 2 years ago, 10 years to get back to where they were, and they turn around and it's crashing again. So hang in there. If you are 20 years old, you can expect a crash every 10 years. 30 years old, every 10 years. The market history shows that we will crash every 7 to 10 years. So for as long as it takes you to get back to where you were, you can expect another crash. How often do you want to get back and fall backwards to where you were? Are you going to keep playing the casino? Or are you going to say, you know what, this is ridiculous. I am done with this whole casino. Because it's all the stock market is a big, huge casino, and you've given your money to somebody else to go play it for you. You don't even get the enjoyment of the rush of playing it on your own. I personally, when I go to a casino, I go along because family wants to play. Guess how much money I put in that casino? None. Not a penny. Not a penny. I'm not playing the casino. I want to put my money where I can control it in things that I know, in things that I can create cash flow out of, because that's what I understand, that's what I'm good at, and that's where I will make my money. Warren Buffett has said, if you do not understand the market, you should not be in the market. Plain and simple. How many brokers understand the market? Very few, because if they did, they would have pulled money before January and moved it to an account. I have actually heard of one. Kudos to that guy. He took his client's money and he said, this market's going to crash. I'm going to move it to bonds and a money market. And he saved them from crashing. Saved them. One guy. I talk to about 400 people a year. One guy in 12 years, thousands of people I've talked to. One broker that has done that. Kudos to that guy. Even I would say, geez, perhaps maybe. What is he doing? Is he paying attention to every single client? Most of them aren't that good, right? Just, it'll come back. You just leave it there, it'll come back. Makes my head hurt. I'm going to go take an aspirin. Oh, you guys, it's insane. It's insane that we have a 10% penalty. It's insane that we can't access that money. Why do they feel like they should control our money? No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. If you have not read Life Without the Bank, please do so. If you have not heard about the infinite banking concept, read Life Without the Bank. Go to withoutthebank.com, grab your book, and learn about an alternative to the madness. Because guess what? I now have 100% control of my money with guaranteed growth. Guaranteed income tax free. It's that simple. It really is super, super simple. We make it hard. Let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns. Email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com, and I'm happy to answer those. And I look forward to talking to you. So you have a fantastic rest of your day.